Welcome to the Full Circle podcast with Julie, Glenn and Phil. Exploring and expanding the consciousness. Learning from each other. We discuss and explore our journeys of spiritual development. You are now tuned in to the Full Circle frequency. Hello and welcome to the Full Circle podcast.
Good morning, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
How are you both?
I'm excited. It's going to be an action-packed weekend.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. I'm just embracing this calm before the storm because there's due to be 1,000 people that are in attendance today. And so we're just gathering our breath before all that commences. So we thought we'd do a quick intro before our first guest.
Yeah. Our first guest is actually in the wings, just here. So Angie, who you all know.
I'm flying in.
Angie's here, and Angie is set up at the minute with your drumming session to start the event, aren't you, Angie? So have you got anything in mind that you are going to be doing?
Well, we'll probably open very gently, inviting the energies in, maybe just do the awakening prayer, and then we'll just chill out and probably finish with something lively, get them howling like wolves and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just going with the flow, really.
Bro. So you're supporting Angie with the drumming, aren't you, as well, Julie? So that's going to be brilliant. You are going to be fantastic, Angie.
Tell my knees that.
As usual. So no pressure. There's no pressure. You've got loads of drums, different drum setup that I can see. So actually some fantastic art on the drums as well, isn't there?
And Jeff's given me some of his drums, and they were painted by Nancy, so they're really special. And we have inherited drums as well from people that are really special.
Yeah.
And we made some as well in the last minute panic because we haven't got a lot of drums.
So we're going to be recording the first. How long, Glenn?
We'll be there for the first 5 minutes of your session. So we'll get a little bit of your performance there, just to give our audience a taster of what to expect from shamanic drumming. But
And this event is totally sold out, so there's only 2,000 people coming over this weekend, so it's going to be absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. So look out for us if you've got your ticket. And I don't know why I'm talking like that, because this is not
like live. A golden ticket, isn't it?
And hey, we've all got our ticket. We've all got our t-shirts on.
We have.
We've got our Full Circle t-shirts on. Official. We're official.
Officially a full circle.
Yeah. Bro. Okay, so we will look forward to talking to you later again.
Thank you very much.
We might catch up with you after your drumming session as well. So.
Have a great time, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. See you later.
Okay, welcome everybody. Wow. That knocking's not dead what people it's my name. I'm Angie from chat, and it's my vocal part of my teacher, my music teacher, and my best friend, and that's the Ross you'll meet him later. When you see the Shack team, drumming is the reason we are at Shack. We're looking for a bigger classroom. We're ending up with a derelict nightclub, and we've been there just over 5 years. So for me, this is really an honour. I started here with Barbara Micklejohn 15 years ago, not here, the other place, and it's a real honour to be here. So thank you all for being here. We're going to start pretty gentle. We're going to go down, chill out a bit, and then we'll get wild to the end. So I hope all your wolves are in good fettle. Yeah? We can have some owls and chickens as well if you like. Okay, so we're creating. We're going to send out from our hearts to the Mother Earth, Father Sky, and to all the people everywhere. And we're going to generate a big, massive love. Is that okay with everyone? Yes. Just close your eyes. And take a breath. Close your eyes. Just chill out. As you breathe in and out, feel Mother Earth at your feet. And Father Sky, or whatever you believe in, shining down on you, going through your higher chakras into your heart space, and radiating out. Breathing in, Mother Earth, it floats up eternal focus. Breathing in and breathing out. Just breathing in and out, and imagine you're somewhere in the world, somewhere that's a favourite place. Perhaps it's a meadow, like a river, out in the fields, sat on the mountainside. Where would you go right now, right this minute? Invite your ancestors, Father Sky, Mother Earth, earth, air, fire and water. We invite spirits of light to rule our simple space. Oh, great Spirit, carry all the way. Bring to me my destiny. Let my life begin. So long have I been lost to you in the world, held fast by the shadows, filtered through our land. Whoa, great Spirit, carried on the wind. Bring to me my destiny. Let my life begin. Breathe into my soul and my beating heart. Let my spirit free to fly and bind me to Mother Earth's heart. Whoa, 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 great Spirit, carried on the wind. Bring to me my destiny. Let my
our next guest that we have with us this morning, the first stallholder that we're with today, is John Richardson. John Richardson is works with past life regression, spiritual readings, and is actually doing the next talk after Angie on hypnosis and the key to the mind. Please welcome John Richardson. Good morning,
Good
John.
morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Very well, thank you.
Brilliant. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your workshop today?
The workshop today is all about hypnosis, the key to the mind. It'll be a talk about my life, how I got into hypnosis, through experiences that I started off as a stage hypnotist, went into hypnotherapy due to getting treatment for myself. So then I developed into a hypnotherapist, and then it went on from there.
Right, okay. Brilliant. What would you say your spiritual background is, John?
Coming from a grandfather who was a medium and an auntie who was a medium, my spiritual background was just development throughout my life experiences, really. It was it's been a really natural thing for me to follow that path.
Brilliant, okay. Is there anything that you're particularly excited about for seeing this weekend, John, yourself?
I think it's just nice that everyone's out and about and normality's resumed.
We were talking about that, John. We said to come in here for the 2 events a year here. It's more of a social event for a lot of people, isn't it? And seeing people that you've not seen for quite a while.
I think it is, and I think it's with the visitors as well. I mean, all the visitors are pleased to be back out and seeing us and coming for readings and purchasing things. I think it is a social gathering.
Yeah, definitely. What's one thing that you're grateful for today, John?
Being here.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Very good answer. Brilliant. Okay, thank you, John, and we will be with you for the beginning of your
Look forward to
workshop as well.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, thank you.
Starts off from programming as a child before we have the intelligence to analyse every individual situation that happens to us. So we've all got these 2 minds. We've got a subconscious mind, we've got a conscious mind. The conscious mind, that's the source of our intelligence. That's what we're using now to analyse what I'm saying and what's going on around us. The subconscious mind is the program. So what goes into that program, your subconscious mind will react on that. But the other bit is, it will override conscious thought. So if your subconscious mind feels strong enough about a situation, it will override it. And then consciously we can do nothing about it. So that's when we often feel feelings that we don't want to feel. So if I ask you just to put your hands up, does anyone here ever feel sad, but there's nothing in their life to feel sad about? Yeah. Does anyone here ever feel angry and irritated, but there's nothing to feel angry and irritated about? And the other one is, does anyone ever cry, but there's nothing to cry about, so they'll shed tears? So then you've got to ask yourself why. So if you're having something in your life today, and you know why it's making you miserable, then you've got to change it, haven't you? But if we've got something in our lives and everything's perfect and everything's not perfect, but everything's good, but we're still feeling sad, then normally that's coming from the subconscious mind. So when we're young and we don't have the intelligence to analyse every individual situation, things get stored in our subconscious mind that's still affecting us today, because your subconscious mind has got no concept of time. And your subconscious mind has got no actual intelligence of its own. So it doesn't look at things and go, that the times have changed, things have changed. We'll update the program. It just carries on, because once it believes something, that belief stays there. Now, what we do as hypnotherapists, we use hypnosis, and we'll have a go with hypnosis in a little while. But we use hypnosis purely and simply to open the minds up, to allow access to the subconscious mind, so then we can change the program. Now, imagination is the language of your subconscious mind. So when you imagine something, your subconscious mind believes it's real. So we can program the subconscious mind by imagination, but we can also unprogram it by imagination. You see, as we're going through childhood, fantasy will also become part of that programming. Because your mind can't tell the difference between something imagined, something real, when we fantasize as children, that can be classed as real to the subconscious mind. So I often say to my clients, when we recall in memories, even if you think you're making it up, even if you think it's not real, it still is real to your mind, and we still need that to come up before we can address it, change the programming. It's like if you gave a new laptop to a 3-year-old child and says, program that, and they're banging on the keys and putting words in, then shut it, give it them back when they're 27, it'll make no sense whatsoever. And that's a little bit like our minds, that we've programmed it as a child, but we're still reacting on it today as adults. So let's just look at a little bit of my childhood, the way I was brought up. So we were brought up in a little idyllic situation, really. My dad had a little small holding, my grandma and granddad lived next door. My granddad was a medium and a hypnotherapist. Now my dad, he was a great character, my dad. He was part-time farmer, full-time gangster. Now, tell me about it. So, my dad were into football drinking and more drinking. And then my granddad, he was more into like keeping a few hens, growing a few veg. Now, my granddad was probably my saviour. I spent my time with my granddad and he nurtured me through. I mean, obviously there were times when I had to go back home, but most of the time I spent with my granddad. And he used to do his readings in this little room he had, and he used to have a little whippet, like we all have in Barnsley. And he had a little whippet, and I used to curl up in the box with the whippet and listen to him giving readings to people. And to me, these were my stories as a child. Going through school, I probably thought I was the hardest kid in the school and I was the softest. I can just, people have told me now in the future, they've said, you weren't really that hard, you said we were scared of your dad. So, as I went through school, then I got into my teens, and in my teens, I worked as a stage hypnotist and a little bit of DJing and everything. I loved the performing, but I got probably more issues than anybody. And I loved it when I was performing, but when the clapping stopped, that's when it really hit me, and that's when I went into my depressive states and horrible states. Got to 29, I thought, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to impress my dad, work for the company. Anyway, 29 in the police cell, thinking, I'm really going to have to look at my career options here. And that's when I went and got hypnotherapy. So, got hypnotherapy, and the guy who trained me as a hypnotherapist was the guy who gave me the treatment, and he changed my life. And what hypnotherapy does, it takes you back over those memories through your mind over probably an 8-week period. And you'll look at those memories back here, but you're seeing them now as an adult. Because the mind is open, then we can change the perception of those memories, and we take away the active emotion that's often triggered, that makes us feel these crying feelings, these sad feelings, when we've really nothing to feel sad about. You see, it's like every single person will go through what I always call a mental health crisis at some point in their life. No one is kept away from it, no one's safe from it. We can all happen to each and every one of us at any time. But what the problem is, the first time we go to the doctors and we go, I'm feeling a bit down, what are you diagnosed with? Depression. The next question is, how can we cure it? Antidepressants. Now, the problem with antidepressants, I've nothing wrong with them, and I think through a short period of time they do help us. But I have lots of clients come to see me and they will be on them for 10 years, 20 years, they'll keep swapping and changing, and there's no different. The reason why you give antidepressants is because when you go to the doctors and you say I'm down, he dare not say to you, why are you down? Because then we're going to open a can of worms, so we've only got 10 minutes to get you out, or do a video call with you. So the easiest way is give antidepressants, they'll sort it. They never do. We've got to keep swapping, keep changing them. It's like with his lives. If I said to you, what's your life like? And you said, well, it's not very good. I've got an husband, bit of a knob. He doesn't work. He sits watching TV all day, eating Popeyes, drinking Guinness. Will antidepressants sort that one out? No, they won't. They might help you through a bit of a crisis period, just a placebo effect, make you feel a little bit better, whatever, but you've got to change that, then they'll neither help with changing past memory, what we call past memory that you react to. So what we've got to do is we've got to open the computer, have a look what's going on in there, change perception, and then what you often find is you're not reacting to the same situations. So this thing we call hypnosis is only a tool to open the mind. That's all it is. But everybody who comes for hypnotherapy will always say to me, "You're going to make me dance like a chicken, man." And I always say, if you want it, we'll give it a crack. But that's not really why you're here, is it? So, if you want to have a go with the hypnosis, and I'll show you how safe it is and how it works, we can all have a go together if you want. Fancy that? Right. So, what I'd like you all to do then, put your feet flat on the floor. I'll just have to put this down in a minute, shout. Put your feet flat on the floor. And then I'd just like to put your fingers together like this and put your thumbs up the front, like that. And I want you to hold your hands in front of your eyes and just look at those thumbs. But what I want more than anything, I want you to use your wonderful imagination. So we're going to test your imagination here. So, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, when I count to 3, I'd like you to close your eyes, but just for a moment, I'd just like you to look at those thumbs. Not me, look at those thumbs. Cheeky devil. So, just stare at your thumbs. It's a serious matter, this. Look at your thumbs. When I count to 3, I just want you to close your eyes. Your bags are all gone when you wake up. Just joking. Just look at your thumbs. On the count of 3, I want you to close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Eyes closed. Now I want you to imagine, through the back of one hand, and coming out of the other, is a great big ball with a great big nut on the end. And I want you to imagine that great big nut tightening. And I want you to see it in your mind, I want you to feel it in your mind, pulling those hands tighter.
Okay, good morning. I'm here at the Mind Body Spirit Show with Alan and Mick from Justin Reiki, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat with you, Alan, if that's okay.
Yeah, good morning.
So it's great to be here, isn't it?
It is, after a 2-year break.
Yeah,
Good to be
have a
back.
good day. So we're just going to ask you a few questions. It's a short interview. I'm going to invite you on to a full session later on. But can you tell us a bit about your spiritual journey first of all?
Yes, I mean, I actually came into this sort of thing by accident. I actually came to disprove Reiki
Okay.
originally. And within a very short time, I was sort of sold on Reiki, and now I'm a master teaching it. So it's been an interesting journey.
Okay. So can you tell us more about the Reiki that you do?
Yes, we're actually doing Usui Reiki, which is the original form of Reiki. And we do this at Clipston, so we run classes every week, sort of every Tuesday night. So we've got probably about 30 students on our books at the moment. So we're just trying to spread the word, really.
Spread the energy and the word of the Reiki, yeah? Can you tell us one thing that you're grateful for?
Well, I suppose after the current situation with the pandemic, I'm grateful that I've actually come through the other end of it. You know, actually now having had COVID, but I haven't got a mild dose of it, so I'm really grateful for that. And sort of just grateful for, well, everything really, for life. You know, I get up in the morning and sort of think,
Of course,
it's another day.
And how long have you been doing the Reiki at Clipston?
About 12 years now, so quite a while.
Fantastic.
I've been master for about probably about 8 or 9 years.
And Mick's been working with you all that time? Or?
Yeah, I mean Mick was my master.
Right.
So
He's here?
yeah, Mick's here. So he sort of introduced me to it. So he's responsible for
That's right.
everything.
I'd say he's responsible for a lot, really. We were talking, Alan, about on a podcast the other week with Eric,
Yes.
and I was talking about how Mick put a crystal in my hand and said, "Bring it back on Tuesday."
Yes. Oh, yes.
And that was, you get drawn in. Mick draws everybody in.
That's right. And he's still waiting for it back, isn't he?
Yes. Yes. Brilliant.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Thank you very
We'll
much.
catch up with you again soon.
So we are with our next guest, and so I'm not sure of your name.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, that has just had a session, haven't you,
Yes.
with Steve.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the what you do here, Steve? Today?
Yeah, I do a thing called All Pain to Go. It's something I created. I'd had 40 years of back pain and I got rid of it. And so I've not only helped people now, but I've also trained people right around the world to do this. I've trained over 1,400 people worldwide to do it. And it's just a talking therapy. It's not hands-on or anything. It literally is the logic of talking people out of pain, chronic pain.
What put you on that path, Steve?
Well, I trained in NLP and hypnotherapy, and there was a technique that was a sort of multi-purpose technique, and it worked on my back pain, but everybody else that had the same treatment the same day, there was about 40 of us. I was the only one the next day where it still worked, and it continued to work, it was a cluttered technique, and it just really didn't work for many people. And I just refined it and changed it until there's hardly any of the original thing left.
And you've just had your session.
Yes.
How was that for yourself today?
It was amazing. Yeah, quite life-changing actually. Yeah.
Can I ask you about what brought you here today? What's your spirit? Do you have a spiritual background? What would you say your spiritual background is?
Well, I mean, I meditate because of the pain that I'm in. I have fibromyalgia, and I've had that for 12 years. And so I found a way to deal with pain by meditation, and sort of looking at different websites recently. I was looking for another way to deal with the pain because it was getting intensive because I trapped nerves down my neck and shoulders. And I came across Stephen's website and was lost in contact with him, and he offered to see me today. I couldn't get tickets, so I ended up in the car park. And it was amazing, the treatment that he's given me today. It's been I'm stunned actually, to be honest. Yeah, I really am.
So that's something that you're grateful for today, because that's one of the questions that I'm going to ask you. So
Yeah.
Can you tell me one thing that you're grateful for today?
This man. I haven't stopped hugging him since he completed the treatment on me. It's been amazing because I came here with some, I tried to lower my expectations as you do. Because you don't want to go sort of having, amazing expectations that something's going to be life-changing when you're in a lot of pain. But, Stephen has taken my pain away, literally taken my pain away within, I think, how long did you go for me? Half an hour in the car. And it was just talking therapy. And then my pain has now gone after 12 years of being in bedridden a lot of the time with pain.
So what's one thing, Stephen, that you're grateful for today?
I'm grateful for the ability to help others because it's so rewarding. And Sarah initially cried and then she laughed and then she hugged me and then she cried and laughed and hugged me.
A gambit of emotions there.
And it's just fabulous to know that you see, I don't do anything to people. I just talk to them and I bargain with their unconscious on their behalf. And then it's almost like the unconscious gets it and it goes, okay, you don't need this pain message anymore. And you just stop sending it out. So to see somebody in pain and not pain, I must have the most rewarding job on the planet because it's just absolutely fabulous. And actually, Sarah's going to train in it now so she can help others. And obviously our own experience will give her that credibility to say, when people say, well, that's crazy, you can't talk to somebody and the pain goes away, she'll say, it onto me. And
It's crazy, isn't it?
so I'm as grateful for her turning up as she is.
I'm grateful for meeting this guy that's life-changing.
And we're grateful for meeting you both. What I would like to do is invite you, Stephen, to record at some point a full episode with us, if that's okay,
absolutely.
as well. So if I can take one of your leaflets, I'll have the details and we'll get in touch. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm with Gary Brumbury from the Retford Ghost Hunters. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
excellent.
Ghost Hunters,
Thank you for joining us today, and it's wonderful to actually to bump into somebody like-minded.
Yeah.
I myself am a paranormal investigator
Oh, yeah.
and a medium as well. So,
Yeah, right.
can you tell us a little bit what drew you here today?
Well, we first came from a wife who just did an interview with, and it's just the sort of spiritual side of things. It interests me. More to do with like the scientific stuff, like the sound healing and things like that. I'm more into that kind of scientific stuff rather than the tarot cards.
I see.
I have no I have no mediumship skills. So, sense some things, but so to me, it's got to be that tangible. Not that I don't believe in it, but I can't understand it because I don't have it. So.
Right. So can I ask you a little bit about your paranormal team?
Yeah. There's about 11 of us.
Okay.
We're a big team. We've got Rachel Parsons, who's the sort of owner of the team. We've got. Is that all right? I unplugged.
No, you're fine.
That's all right.
That's it,
Yeah, we've got Rachel Parsons, who's the leader of the team. We've got Will, who's the assistant manager.
Okay.
And then we've got various other members of the team, like myself. I've been there for just over a year now. And we've had some new members come in. A few members leave as they go in teams, but yeah, we've got a good team.
Excellent. And I understand that you've got your own podcast as well. Is that correct?
No. I am thinking about doing a podcast.
Oh, okay.
To do with sort of the hunts, because when we go out and hunt, I do all the history of the places. You know, I do all the research and do the history of the places. So I am thinking about doing a podcast, tying in the places that we've been, and also questions from any of our viewers if they want to ask us questions, you know, in a more relaxed manner. Because we do sometimes on hunts, but it's kind of manic.
I think that's a nice idea as well. I mean, there's a need for it. Obviously, with these changing times, you will be aware of it. It's shifted the vibration.
Oh, yes.
And so there's more activity for it's like as yourself and your team there.
Yeah.
But whereabouts do you go on your investigations?
We go all over, to be honest. We've been to abandoned factories. We go to churchyards occasionally. Historic places. We like to go to historic places, like a place in Clipstone. There's King John's hunting lodge, and it's just basically a couple of walls. That's all that's left. Yeah, but pubs. Obviously, we like to do pubs, old pubs. So we've got an old library coming up soon, but anywhere we can get.
And is this all over the UK that you do?
Yeah, yes. We go further afield, we have a weekend away, obviously, because of the travelling. But it's made, luckily, where we are here, we've got quite a lot around us. So we're about an hour and a half, 2 hours travelling distance to get to places. So
that's good, that's fair. Is there any advice that you could give to our viewers or listeners if they are experiencing any paranormal phenomena and they'd like somebody to check that out? Is there any way that can get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, we're on Facebook, Retford Ghost Hunters. If you go onto the page, at the top of it, it'll say message the page. You just type in a message there, and we will get back to you, and we'll listen to what you've got to say, and we can come out and have a look. But my main thing to say to people, if they have got any paranormal activity in the house, is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it. As long as nothing physical is happening to you, which 99% of the time it doesn't, don't be afraid. It's just somebody that used to live, if they do exist, and that they are just going about their business most of the time. But, just acknowledge them, say hello, and say, right, this is my place now, and that's my advice.
That's lovely advice, and I can certainly attune to that with some of the investigations I've been in. So thank you very much for joining us today, Gary. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the wonderful events.
I will do, yeah. Down.
And thank you.
Afternoon.
afternoon. I'm with Rachel. It's Mental Balance with the biofield resonance systems that Rachel's going to talk about. So, hi Rachel, how are you? Thank you. Good. Are you having a good day so far?
Brilliant. Lots of very, very interesting people.
Yeah.
They're asking some very powerful questions.
Okay, so what is it?
It works with frequencies. So what the systems do, whether it's my systems or other systems similar, they work by picking up the vibration of your cells, your DNA, proteins, your isotopes, and it gives me feedback. And it might tell me that you've got a toxin, parasite, heavy metal burden, food intolerance, or it might tell me that you're out of balance with your emotions, you might have limiting beliefs, you might be working on a higher level, and you might need to be looking at your energetic connections or spiritual connections. And I have a lot of high-end spiritual development programs within my British system.
It works on the quantum physics level?
Yes, it does.
It understands the system as well. So, can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey, just a little bit, and how you came to be where you are?
Well, I think from being a widowed mother at the age of 32 with 4 young children, I followed a journey of holistic therapy, explored things like NLP, Shamanic, tantric stuff. So it's working with energy, it's working with chakras, it's working with beliefs. And I think from there I came to understand so much.
I guess you have to be really strong to go within your own journey inside, really.
And I came to bioresonance through meeting another system which was treating a condition I had, but they didn't quite get to the core issue. And a lot of our core issues are about self-love, they're about our limiting beliefs, they're about our imbalances, our incorrect food eating, they're about all these self-talk things we're doing, they're about our lack of believing in ourselves.
Sure, so these systems working on the quantum level, change your frequency or reset the frequency.
It encourages you. You can block it. People can block it. But if you're open and you want to change, you have a chance of helping you to balance. So there's no guarantees in it with anyone who does vibrations, whichever system you use. I get good results. And what I find is people who do yoga, tai chi, qigong, work in nature, who are connected to a higher frequency in themselves, their scans give me better feedback, they get better movement. And I can work remotely, I can work in Australia. I've worked with someone with pain, and she could be in Australia, she could be in Wales, she could be in the Netherlands. And when I ran the pain formula for her, she got pain relief. I've worked with someone in America and he wanted to feel grounded because he would fly, had a suitcase there, a suitcase here, and he wanted to feel grounded, and I worked with him and he felt grounded. So it's absolutely brilliant. And then on a more physical level, secondary infertility, 2 years trying for a baby after having 3 with no problems, just cleansing up that area of the reproductive organs. She felt pregnant straight away.
Wow, some great results there, fantastic.
Brilliant results, but we're not allowed to treat and cure. We don't treat and cure. What I do is work with your energy body. So I'm working with your multiple layers of your energy body. Which we can change. I'm allowed to work with that. I'm working with your limiting beliefs and chakras. And that has a knock-on effect and creates changes in the physical body.
So what is one thing you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful that I met the man I married and had my children. That's the biggest letdown.
So that's really fascinating. I think there'll be a lot of people interested in this. So you now, we'll be meeting you and hope you have a rest of the day.
One piece of advice I would give is you need to love yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most important thing. You need to love yourself.
Thank you very much. All you need is love. Thank you.
I'm with Joanne says, "Oh, hi Joanne.
Hello
How
there.
are you?"
I'm
From
really well.
Talking Teacups. What are you here doing today, Jess?
I'm doing tea leaf reading and also demonstrating the talking teacups.
So what are you going to be doing? You're doing a talk today, aren't you?
I
as
am,
well?
yes. I'm also a spiritualist medium, so I'm hoping that the talk I'm doing today will include some evidential mediumship, but I'll also be doing a little demonstration of the talking teacups.
We look forward to being in there and recording some of that session.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So thank you for that. Can you tell us a little bit about your own spiritual journey?
I was really lucky. I was brought into spiritualism as a child, aged 3.5. I was doing altered state mediumship for my nana, and then got drawn into the spiritualist church by her. She was a tea leaf reader and a spiritualist medium. And then it was just second nature to have teacups, tea leaves, everything around us. But as an adult, I chose spiritualism and then started my own formal development in spiritualism when I was 21. And I've never looked back. I'm in my 32nd year of demonstrating in spiritualist churches and tea groups, and I'm in year 13 of self-employment as a professional medium. Yeah.
If there's one thing you could teach the world, what would you teach the world?
Oh, just to love one another, genuinely love one another, and have no judgment, no prejudice, no jealousy. It keeps recurring, and I would just like to eradicate it.
Can you give me one thing that you might be grateful for today?
My sister.
Oh, can we get a shot of the sister? Say hi. Thank you.
Yeah, she's been my rock.
Well, thank you, Joanne. I will see you in a while.
Thank you very much.
My name is Joanne Cesar. I'm known as Madam Cesar. Please do not phone me at 2 o'clock in the morning asking for favours. I'm known on Facebook as Madam Cesar, and you can find me there. From the 1st of November, I'm also going to be in. Turn your phone off. Phone's off. From the 1st of November, I'm going to have a little corner in the artisan crafts and food emporium in Doncaster French Gate Centre, which is next door to Sainsbury's. So you'll be able to find me there 6 days a week, if I can last that long. I do like to work with my own hours. Right, I am a tea leaf reader, I am a spiritualist medium, I'm a tarot reader, I do scrying, I can do just about anything. I'm also a trance medium, and I teach and coach other mediums in sort of evidential mediumship, trance mediumship, and transfiguration. Personally, I'm a little bit of a coward, and although I can do it, I prefer to watch other people do it. Right. My history, I was brought up within spiritualism. By the age of 3.5, I was going into trance state, and my nana, who was a spiritualist medium, healer and tea leaf reader, took me under her wing. Morehead's Church was the first church that I served, and I was still a child. If it happened today, the social workers would have me. So it was all very second nature to have tea leaf readings going off, to have the mediumship going off. When I was a kid at my nana's, trotting in and out, all I remember is I was told you're either in or you're out. And it wasn't until I was 17 that I was actually talking to somebody, and they said, "Oh, you know your nana was a tea leaf reader," because I questioned why these particular women in the village didn't all sit together around my nana's kitchen table. And it's because my nana was tea leaf reading, and they had the courtesy to pop their head round and say, "Oh, I'll come back later." As a child, I thought they just didn't like bother. It's 3 years ago, I was stood at an event, and a woman said, in the village I was living in, and the woman said to me, "You look familiar, who's your mother?" And I told her, so she said, "Oh, Mariah's your grandmother." "Yeah." And she went, "I used to go and watch her at the spiritualist church." So 3 years ago, age 52, I discovered my nana was a a serving medium within the spiritual movement. And that's how second nature it was. So I decided that I needed a gimmick, and I'll be quite honest, that's all it is, that's all the devices are a gimmick, because we can use our psychic connection, we can use our connection with the divine to get the messages across. Sometimes it's just easier for you if you've got something to look at instead of me. So, I wanted to do something. And I had my nana's influence from spirit to get me to do tea reading. I'd asked, and within a week I was at a hotel with my then partner. We went for breakfast, the waitress brought the breakfast, she brought the teapot, and he bought the tea. It was loose leaf, and he said, oh, look, there's no strain. I said, ha ha ha. Pick it down, turn it over, I'll read your tea leaves for you. I found out more in 10 minutes than I did the previous 18 months, and that was the beginning of the end of the relationship. I went out on the circuit with half a dozen teacups because I knew that I had to establish a system where I was working to a much more discerning audience than my nana did. So I had to have more layers to make you go, yes, she's right. Yeah, how does she know that? So I went out with 6 teacups, each of them with an individual design. Each spoke something to me, and its divine evoked something in me. And now I have over 400 teacups, not mentioning the ones that are under the bed that belong to the godmother. We don't mention those in case somebody comments that I might be a bit obsessive. So I have, amongst that 400 and odd, I have more than 320 that are individual styles and divine designs. Each one talks to me, each one tells me something different. Today I've got less than 10% of my cups with me to work with you. I have trademarked them, registered trademark, as a unique style of psychic reading. Because what I can do is read from the cup, either what's going on for you, what's prominent in your mind, or actually the spirit communicator who wants to talk to you or you want to talk to. And I can use them as others would use tarot cards for various layouts. The simplest one is present and future, or current outcome. But what I've done is I've incorporated it within the tea leaf reading, so the choice of teacup becomes the first layer of your reading. So it gives me the tone of the reading. And if you picked with your eyes, you will tell me a different story to if you pick with your heart. Okay? So if I know that somebody has chosen a cup that they picked with their eyes, I will make them stop and pick another one. And I will tell them why one's more important than the other. Already today, one lady's picked one with her eyes, picked one with her heart, and the two tell the story of what she wants to talk about, but actually what was more pertinent today to talk about. I'd like to hope it was successful. I can see her now, she's smiling. But it was wonderful because these teacups have been tested around the world before I actually launched them and decided to trademark them. Tested them around the world with complete strangers, and then I've tested them with family members, just leaving them out on the side and see which one they pick up, and I go, oh yeah. And I leave them out because after every event, every time I take them out, I have to wash them and leave them to air dry. And I can hear them chattering in the kitchen, and I walk past, and I'll just brush my fingers past and land my fingers on one, and I'll go, yeah, get back in there, bitch. Because they're honestly, they're true to me, and just like those of you who read your own tarot cards, you always shuffle, put them back together and shuffle them again, because they never say what you want, do they? And that's exactly the same with the teacups. I have had them, I've acquired them through fair and foul means. I have been known to go to vintage tea rooms with spare cups in my bag, and then actually swap them for the one I've been served with. My friend who runs one of those vintage tea rooms cottoned on to me quite quickly, and she said if I didn't stop she'd ban me. I stopped. So, what I really wanted to do today was a little bit of evidence from mediumship, but if I've just brought a few cups out, and you can come and have a mill round them, and you can certainly come over to the stand that we've got just down, just a couple past Eric's crystals as you go through the main room. And what they are is they are my system. They are how I work. It links to Pan-Spiritism, where we have this connectivity between all of us and everything. Okay? Essentially, how they work is that I have them in my space, in my auric energy, in my psychic energy. I know which everyone means. I ask you to pick a cup. What I'm doing is I am pushing my energy out to you for you to have a feel, and you instantaneously know what every one of those cups mean. So I could number these and tell you to pick a number. And on that energy, it is coded. And you might pick number 1. And you might be lucky and get nice Nana. And she's the universal grandma that comes and gives you the biggest hug in the world and says, you're all right, love. Just because everybody else says you're wrong, I think you're lovely. And that's what every best Nana should do. And that's what I do as a Nana. Or you might say, I want number 2, and I go, uh-oh, you just picked nasty Nana. Right? This is the lady who we can't get a grip on because she's lost her animal. Right? We don't know where she's coming from. We certainly don't know where she's going, but it might be hot because God don't want her yet. But this is the lady who is hateful. And the warning in this book is you'll go down the same road as her if you don't start self-caring, looking after yourself, promising to be good, and trying to be better rather than bitter. So, these lovely ones, I've got Kevin here, a teenager, who's having a stroke. Yeah. I've got one called the Riviera, because it looks like you're on the Riviera until you have a closer look, and you're certainly not on your daddy's yacht. You're in a tea crate. So lots of different colours, lots, and it's fun. I like to keep it fun. But anyway, I'm going to do some evidential mediumship.
Hi, Eric.
Hello, Phil.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, mate.
How are things going today?
Very, very well. The show is busy and everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. And baked potatoes are going down the tree, crystals are going down the tree. So, really good day, sir.
We've been talking to a few different people so far today. Everybody's loving the environment and the energies that are around here. We're actually stood, I don't know if you want to just pan down, Eric, but we are, Glenn, we are with the pyramids at the minute as well.
I was just thinking that.
I have got my eye on that one right there.
That's, we made that one originally for somebody who got inflammation, we call it migraine, as in she got migraine at the time, and it was designed to reduce her inflammation. So yeah, so it seems to work really well. It does other things besides that.
Yeah, it's lovely. I love the colours in that.
And that is just fantastic.
That is a masterpiece, isn't it?
That's one of the first I ever made. That took me, believe it or not, about 5 hours to make and 3 days to polish. I've since learned that if you put them in a different mould, they polish themselves. But that one I spent 3 whole days, about 20 hours polishing it. That one, I think it's got a label under. Somebody called it Across the Universe. They tend to get an experience when they hold these up. Whether it's on the astral plane or wherever, it tends to transport them into another level of reality. And that's what somebody labelled that, is they hold it, find themselves drifting into different levels of consciousness.
That one's nice. In fact, do you know
They're
what?
all
They're
nice.
aren't they?
That was a classic organite pyramid. People put these next to their Wi-Fi. So the belief is that emanations from electromagnetic fields, so Wi-Fi routers, mobile phones, affect people's energy field. And if you put one of these next to it, it soaks up the energy so you don't have to. So that's they call these organ pyramids or organ generators or organ pyramids.
It's brilliant. Fantastic.
And that one, the last one, it's one of my favourites. That's the one I'm using at the moment. It's 24 karat gold inside organic and inorganic resin. And these act like an astringent on the aura. They keep the aura tight to the body. So often people's symptoms they get are because the aura gets into the diffuser, gets kind of holes in it, and seals it. It's like a diver's wetsuit. The aura. Works really well. And it's good for people who are doing spiritual work generally, readings or healing, that kind of thing. So I really like that. So that's the one I'm looking at the moment.
That's fantastic. So, okay. thank you, Eric, for your time. Just a couple more questions. Can you tell us one thing that you're grateful for today?
Yes, I'm a natural warrior, and I lie in bed thinking last night, it's probably time for everybody quickly, because I know the show is going to be a total disaster. It never is, but I always worry about it.
Yeah.
So the fact that somebody somewhere is looking after me and takes all this on board and is aware that I worry, and I regard this as a kind of channeled experience.
Yes.
Yeah. So it happens despite me. So I'm grateful that I've got up in the morning, people turn up, it's nice and friendly, warm and fuzzy, and it's a wonderful place to be. So yeah, in terms of gratitude, just to be associated with the show, for me is a good thing. And it's people are so nice.
Yeah.
It's like outside you get the spectrum of people. Here, it's like a little bubble. So I feel, this is my gratitude.
We're grateful that we're here this week tonight. So thank you for allowing us to be here for the week. So we're really enjoying it so far. It's going so quick. It's like a whirlwind, isn't it? But yeah, we intend to have a look around at some point as well today. So thank you very much.
Thank you for doing that. It's been really nice.
Thank you. So we thought we'd just grab 5 minutes of time with our own Julie from the Full Circle podcast. Because Julie, you are doing your own demonstrations now, Yanga Yoga, aren't you?
So, I'll be in room 2, and I'll be doing some breathing, relaxation techniques, and some basic posture work. Mostly seated yoga, but we may adventure outside. And many people have come in, and sometimes just want to be able to do that.
So how are you finding it today so far? Because you've not really, like us, we haven't had much time, have we?
No, it's going very quickly. It's been a great show so far, and really hoping it'll be a good turnout for the yoga session. And I can help people to get some energy or to relax if they need it, and also do me good as well.
Yeah, the energies at the minute, Julie, the energies are fantastic, especially from the drumming earlier as well.
That was really great.
The energies are really high. A very mixed bag of energies, I will say, but really high energies at the minute. So, from today, Julie, can you give us one thing that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to share the yoga and to spread the energy like means and like-minded people, and to be able to help people with their mind, body and spirit. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. And if there's one thing that you could teach everybody in the world, what would you teach? You're not allowed to say yoga. You're not allowed to say yoga.
Yourself, not really, because it all starts from within.
Well, thank you, Julie. We will be with you in your session for a while anyway, so we look forward to seeing you shortly.
You're going to join in?
Yeah, oh yes, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How are we all? Are we all okay? I'll be early at the drumming session as well, so this is my quieter, calmer session in there. So I'm Julie Gator. Has anybody not done any yoga before? Okay. Are you all fit and healthy?
Yeah.
Yes. So far. We'll find out later. So does anybody know a lot about yoga? I know we've got a yoga teacher at the front here as well, so no pressure. We have 2 yoga teachers here. So a little bit, yeah. So a lot of people think yoga is just sitting there really and meditating and relaxing, which is obviously a big part of some types of yoga, but there are physical types as well, because to get the mind in shape, sometimes you have to work with the body, although it should be the mind and then the body. It's a reversal of different techniques. So there's strong yoga types, such as Ashtanga yoga. There's vinyasa flow, where you're moving and you're not holding the postures. You've got the hatha or hatha yoga. It's all in Sanskrit. It originates from India, and yoga is over 5,000 years old. So it's been going a long, long time. It is an art and a science. So that's a little bit about the yoga. How I came into it is I decided I've got a lot of energy. I needed to calm down. So it kind of worked, but it also gave me more energy to do more things. But through the yoga, it's helped me to channel the energy, so I'm able to channel different parts of my life with that energy, which fulfills my inner being, or divine, if you like. Now, come on in, it's okay. So I've been doing yoga a long, long time. I also train other yoga instructors as well. Not my own course, it's a course based in Crewe, Staffordshire. So I'm able to take people through tutoring their yoga postures and the writing of the essays that you need to do. So that's a different subject there, but that's my background. I also do lots of other things just to give you an idea of the energy. So I'm a musician, I'm a singer, a music teacher, I teach piano, keyboard, organ singing. Besides the yoga, I've run several businesses. I've worked for myself since I was 17. I believe in myself and I have an inner drive, and I always listen to my own intuition, and that's brought me to where I am today, really. I think as you sort of get a little bit older, you start to question yourself, what path are you on, what do you want to do, and what tools do you want to use within that path. It's not yoga for everybody. You know, we've got drumming, which is a fantastic tool there. We have Reiki, we have crystals. There's so many different systems you can use. But I liked yoga because even if you're feeling unwell, for me, it was something that really worked at the time, and I've just made it part of my life, really. It's designed to be a purifying and cleansing practice, not just an exercise program, as a lot of people think. And also to sit there and chant. There's a lot of things that you need to do before you can get to that stage. So today I wanted just to go through some posture work with you in the chair that you can easily do at home, or if you're interested in doing more yoga, it can give you an insight into what to do or where to take it next. So are we all happy to give that a bit of a go? And what I'll do at the end, we'll have a bit of questions and answers, because I'd rather not waffle on, I'd rather answer questions that you may have at the end there, if you want to see at the end, that kind of thing. So I'm going to close the door now, just as we're starting. So I'd like you to sit onto your chair, feet flat onto the floor, a slight gap between your knees. And you can rest your hands onto your lap there. If you work with mudras, you can select mudra. You can lift your energy by pointing the palms upwards, or you can ground yourself by tipping them down. So you decide whether you want to be grounded or if you want to be lifted. We breathe in and out through the nose in yoga. It's a better breath for you. It helps to filter anything out that your body doesn't need. So you can just practice breathing in and out through your nose first of all. Just get your own comfortable breathing pattern. So inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. If you want to close your eyes while you're breathing, just to concentrate on your breathing, and just carry on inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Come on in, that's fine. Just noticing how you're feeling as you're breathing in and out through your nose there. So do you feel more energetic? Do you feel more relaxed? If you're struggling to breathe, just relax it a little bit there. Have a break from the breathing, and then you can resume when you're feeling ready. So we're filling the body with energy, prana, life force as we inhale through the nose. And we're letting go of any stay there, any tension or toxins, let go on the out breath. Couple more rounds, inhale. And exhale. And then just take your breathing back to your own comfortable breathing pattern now. Be mindful to keep your breathing going in and out through the nose. hands where possible. You can bring some attention back into your physical body, so you can move your fingers and your toes a little bit now. Just be aware of your body. I'm going to start with some neck stretching now, so you can keep your eyes closed throughout the session if you want to. Just sit up nice and tall, so your back's nice and straight there, your shoulders relaxed. It's going to be quite dynamic, so just do what you can. Have a rest at any time. Take your head round to your right side, as far round as you're able. And hold it here, continuing to breathe in and out through your nose. And then bring your head back to the centre and take it gently round to the left side. And notice whether you can take your head round further on this side, or if you have one side more flexible than the other. And bring your head back to the centre. And we're tucking the chin in towards your chest centre. Bring your head back to the centre and tilt your head up towards the ceiling. Careful with any neck issues. Bring your head back to the centre. Tilt your head over towards the right shoulder. Bring your head back to the centre and tilt over towards the left shoulder. Bring your head back to the centre, tuck your chin in towards your chest. We're going to roll the head round towards the right shoulder, stopping when you've reached halfway. Roll your head back to the centre with the chin tucked in and roll it round towards the left shoulder, stopping when you've reached halfway. Keep the breathing going in and out through the nose. Roll your head back to the centre with the chin tucked in, then bring your head back to neutral, tilt your head up towards the ceiling, and roll your head round towards the right shoulder, stopping when you've reached halfway. Head back, roll it back to the centre and roll it round towards the left shoulder, stopping when you've reached halfway. And keep your head back, roll it back to the centre and bring your head back to neutral. If you've got your eyes closed, just gently bring your attention back into the room there. So that's a gentle start. So lots of people hold tension in the neck and shoulder area, so we're literally going to just move your shoulders up and over and back. You can do it separately if you want to, or together. We're just going up and over and back. Might be a few crunches and sound effects, but don't worry, it's all good. And keep your breathing going. Most people sit there and they're not breathing. That's a different practice called breath retention. And then to a rifle H, so you can retain breath. And lower the shoulders back down. And going the other way, up and over and forward. Lovely.
We've managed to capture two fantastic souls at the Mind, Body and Spirit show today.
Hi.
We've got May and Daniel with us. How are you both?
Great, really enjoying the festival. It's really good.
Brilliant, isn't it? The energies are really high today.
Yes, it's always, to me it always feels like there's so many high-vibing people that come together at Mansfield MBS that it feels like we all raise the energy together, and it kind of feels like we're in almost like a heavenly realm. It's lovely, it's visitors on here.
Can you tell us a little bit about your own spiritual background? Your spiritual path is a massive, it's a very long path, and I will say for you quite a challenging path, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yes, the challenge is what has led me to my spiritual path. So my challenge was acute and chronic pain. I was diagnosed with endometriosis after laparoscopic surgery in 2005, which actually for some reason caused me even more pain and even more difficulty with my life, and I wasn't actually able to work for 4 years, and I was on very strong painkillers. And it took me to get to my wit's end with that level of pain to try Reiki. and I was scared it was going to be a scam. And I was scared that if I put all my hope into it, it's my last thing that was going to help me with my pain, because the NHS had done everything that they could, and I needed something else to get me through it. And I was so surprised when I had that first Reiki session, and it did change my life. And I saw what I would have called then waking dreams, which I would call visions now, where I was playing with albatrosses, and I was getting symbolic images about the infinity symbol, and sort of like transformation from what, like a bear that I met had infinity symbol on its tummy, and it turned into a miniature child, and then it went into Loch Forest, Colorado Sky, and I saw symbols, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what Reiki was, but I kind of, when I came away from there, I had such a much lower level of pain. I felt peace and calm and relaxation in my body that I needed, that I've not felt before. I really needed that, and I kept going every week. This really lovely lady, she understood me, and my pain just dropped. During that time, I had lots of beautiful synchronicities. I had a vision of, a hollow oak tree, and somebody came to me fire to kind of kill the disease in my body, which makes sense with my endometriosis, which is uterine cells that occur outside the body and they will bleed internally. And then within me as a hollow oak tree, a bird came and built a nest, and I watched this bird raise its chicks in the nest within me, and then a silver birch tree grew inside that cavity, and I became a laminate of ancient oak and new birch, and then I became interlinked with all the other trees, and I became the forest, and it was an amazing spiritual experience of connectedness and oneness, and it was extremely beautiful to experience that. And then after that very session, I was taken for a walk with my dad, who's a ranger at Sherwood Forest, and I found the tree that I was in my vision.
That's brilliant.
And then my dad told me that there was a wren's nest in the tree, and there were chicks, and I could go and see the chicks if I wanted to. So we had a little peep and saw these tiny little...
Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
The synchronicity was incredible.
If you don't mind me saying, you are such an inspiration to many people that come across your videos on Facebook, and your adventures with Daniel as well in rivers and lakes and forests and things like that. What about your own spiritual development, Daniel? How did that start for yourself?
So for me, I came out of a long relationship several years ago, and just wanted to look at myself. That was the start of the journey, was growth, and wanting to understand myself, understand other people, and just kind of open my mind to experiences. And that kind of was where it started, and then within the last year, I've kind of found a real sense of peace and just acceptance of everything, and everything is the way it should be, and to learn to just feel into the flow and just let life take you where it needs to take you.
And we've had some really wonderful conversations about what our spiritual perspective on the universe. And
isn't it nice that when you meet somebody like you have, you are able to have those fantastic conversations like that?
Yes.
What's one thing that you could give me that you are both grateful for today? You aren't allowed to say each other, but what's one thing that you are grateful for?
I would be very grateful in my life for my healing path and my spirituality. I just want to brag that I've had laparoscopic surgery to just remove the very last bits of the illness that I've been healing spiritually, emotionally, energetically, and I'm very grateful for energy healing. To me, that is the thing that will always make the shift, that will always make the difference, that will always shift your perspective, that will bring you the synchronicity and the magic. So I'm very grateful for energy healing.
for me, the thing that came to mind when you said it was good health, also that would extend to just happiness and general well-being. I've been fairly blessed not to have had any real issues in my life, so having seen lots of people who have really needed to do a lot of work to heal themselves, I feel pretty blessed that I haven't really needed that. It's been quite lucky. I've always had a blessed life, so the gratitude that I've not had to suffer as some have to get to the place that I am.
If there's one thing that you could teach, everybody in the earth, you could teach everybody in the earth one thing, what would you teach them?
For me, it would be connecting with the earth. Because if we were all one with something and we'd all be one, just come and let me know, and we can all be one with the earth, with the heart of the earth. And that is very, on a practical term, that's a very healthy form of energy that we can connect with, that's good for our health and well-being. But it's much farther reaching than that.
I would say authentic communication, so being open and honest and communicating everything you've got to communicate in a timely manner, and just being as open as you can with people so that they understand where you're coming from, and working to understand where they're coming from, and just having a sort of healthy dialogue.
I 100% agree with that as well, so that's brilliant. Yeah. Thank you both. It's so nice to come across such a lovely couple as well while we're around. So as soon as I saw you both walk in, I'm like, they're going to be interviewed. So thank you for that, and we look forward to you both being on for a full episode as well at some point, if that's something that you'd like to do.
We would really look forward to that, absolutely.
Well, lovely.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are with Tanya. Hi Tanya, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm very good. So we're just having a bit of a natter there, so I didn't know if anybody caught that natter that we were having. Tell us about what you're doing, Tanya, today. What are you here for?
So I'm here today representing the Woodland Trust and to do an engagement, just to talk about all the fantastic work that we're doing, and the importance of tree planting.
Yeah. Some fantastic information. I don't know if Glenn wants to pan around just to have a quick look at the stall that we're at as well. So I don't know if you can see that, Glenn. There's some fantastic information and stuff like that on here.
So we have a directory here, and this is a directory of all of the estates in our portfolio. There's over 1,300. This goes with the welcome pack when you become a member.
Yeah.
We also do a lovely thing where we subsidise trees for landowners. So, and this is the trees that you can get from the Woodland Trust. And we also give advice about right tree, right place, which is very, very important. We have a tree poster here. This is something that you get when you become a member as well, which is a poster of all our native trees. Also, what I'm talking about, I'm just leaning over. What I like to talk about as well is just the importance sometimes of what people don't understand. So the importance of fungi. So fungi, new research has just discovered that it's actually fungi that help supply water to trees, and they've been around for over 10 million years, and it's a fantastic network that is the base of all our tree life. This is the magazine that you get when you become a member. This is a new project that we're doing. We're retreeing the northern forest. I'll show you. So we've already started this project. This is our next big project. So we're going to be planting over 50 million trees. We have started, and what we're going to do is try what we're going to do is make sure that we can go from one coastline to the next, potentially without leaving a forest. Creating a corridor, obviously, for wildlife and planting over 50 million trees. So we're doing so much stuff.
You're also doing a talk.
At 4 o'clock I'm doing a talk, yes.
So that's incorporating forest bathing.
Yes, it is. So we're going to be talking about mindfulness and the importance of forest bathing and how to do it and how it's really good for your mental health. You can do it in any woodland, our woodlands or any woodlands near you. And it's just about getting in touch with the energy of the trees and the life from underfoot and the birds and the surrounding. And I think what we try to promote as well is how important it is for our mental health as adults, but how important it is for children, especially in today's world.
Absolutely.
And actually we do have a new forest called Mead Forest, which is the UK's first national youth forest where a lot of those activities do take place. It's just in Hena and it's called Mead Forest if people want to go.
Yeah, I'm certainly interested in that myself. If there's one thing that you could teach everybody in the world, what would you like to teach them?
A combination of two things, kindness and respect. And I think that we should show each other kindness and respect, but we need to show everything else that's living on this planet kindness and respect. All plant life, all animal life, because we're all connected. It's absolutely key.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me one thing that you're grateful for today?
I'm grateful that I woke up. I'm not ready to die. I love being on this planet. I love representing the Woodland Trust. I live in a fabulous village in the Peak District. I've got my fantastic little needy dog and needy cat, who we were just talking about. And you know, it's great to be alive.
Whereabouts in the Peak do you live?
I live in a small village called Harwich.
I've not heard of that, but whereabouts?
Best kept secret, Harwich. So it's in between Ashbourne and Buxton.
Right, okay. I know both of them.
Yeah, so it's hidden in between the two.
Oh, lovely. I spend quite a lot of time myself in Derbyshire, walking around Mantor, Castleton, Edale, Kindersgate, all those.
Dovedale, Thorpe, all of those areas.
It's lovely. So I'm here today then, so I'm not trainers instead of walking boots today, I'm afraid, but brilliant. Lovely. Thank you, Tanya. It's been so nice to talk to you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And we'll catch you in your talk as well for 5 minutes.
So the reason that I work for the Woodland Trust, my role is a membership development officer.
I'm sitting down so
Come in. Just started. Alright, it's okay. I'll just, so my name is Tanya Perkins. I work for the Woodland Trust as a salaried employee. The reason that I work for the Woodland Trust, I have worked, so my role is not particularly doing these kinds of talks, so if there's something that you ask me that I don't know the answer to, then I will take your details and make sure that you get the answer to your question. So my role is, as I was saying, is a membership, what we call membership development officer. So we exist and we do the work that we do because we have members. So the reason I work for the Woodland Trust and not another charity, so I have been in this role for other charities for about 10 years and was desperately waiting to be employed by the Woodland Trust. They have such a massive level of integrity and really you can't do this job, I don't think, unless you believe in the organisation that you're working for. So I've been with the Woodland Trust now nearly 4 years, and so what I'm going to do is introduce you to what we do and why we do and how we do it. So I've made some notes. So why do we need trees? What are the challenges? And what are we doing? So there are 4 reasons that we need trees. The first one, and the most important one that I think that people have noticed now is human health. And that couldn't have been more relevant in lockdown. We were the only charity to not close our woods and not close our car parks. We were the only ones to stay open. But to give you an example of like footfall, we have a wood in London Thorpe, in Grantham, which is where our head office is, and we have one of those big yellow waste bins for dog poo and then other waste. It costs us £135,000 a year to maintain that and have that emptied, because that's how frequently the wood's used and how many times we have to empty that. In the pandemic, it went up to £280,000 for us to empty that. And what's really interesting is that then we have people using that wood, and you can take your dogs into all of our woods. But there's a lot of people that want to use the woods but then don't want to support us as well, which is, you know, it's hard for me when I'm sort of at that wood, talking to those people, knowing the cost. That's just for that bin, that's not for maintaining the wood. But human health, so we had a lot more people go out into all our woods and forests than that had never been before, realising just how important it is for their mental health. And there is going to be, I will actually just talk a little bit now about forest bathing. So forest bathing seems to have been a new thing, but actually I don't think it is a new thing. I think that this is a very old, traditional way of communing with the planet that I think that we've lost in the 20th century. I personally do forest bathing, they call it Shinrin Yoko. Yeah. So that's what it's called. It's this gentleman here that does that as well. So what that means is that if I personally go dusk and dawn, I go into the forest when it's really still, and if you do this and you try to do this, go and just be in the moment with yourself, and then I sit with my back to a tree and I breathe, you know, into my diaphragm really deeply. I close my eyes and I just let everything, thoughts-wise, disappear. And then I soak in what's going on. So the noises, you hear the birds, you can hear the insects, you can almost feel the earth breathe. And you certainly can, if you, I've been shown how to do it, feel the vibration in the trees. And that's woodland bathing. And you go, I recommend you do it at least 20 minutes a day if you can, but it just centres you, it brings you to the moment, it aligns your chakras, so you're not feeling anxiety from the past or anxiety from the future, and it just sets you up for the day. And we encourage woodland bathing in all our woodlands and all our forests. So human health, very, very important, especially for young people in today's world. We need to get them out into the woods and into the forests. So we have over 1,300 estates in our portfolio, and they come in the directory, so you can go to any of those woods. All of the woods and all of the car parks are free to go to, because we're an inclusive charity and we want people, whether they can be a member or not be a member, to be able to come and experience the kinds of woods that we have. And I've just got some examples here which I've shown, I think, a few people already. So until I came to work for the Trust, I wasn't aware that we actually had tropical rainforest, ancient rainforests in this country. And we actually do. This is a forest that we own now, that's just on the outskirts of Snowdonia. So we encourage everybody, if you can imagine, if people they live in the city, they've never been to one of our forests or woods, but then this is the first thing that they experience. Now, the reason that we don't charge people to go is because if you don't want to be a member, but then you go and you visit one of our woods, and you visit this wood, say for example, and you'll be in awe of what this is. And also, this is only one of 3 that we have left in the country. One of 3, which is just devastating. When you realise that, then you'll understand, aside from all the other benefits of climate change and carbon footprint, the benefits of supporting this charity so we can protect these woodlands and these forests. So important. Now, in 1970, we had 80% tree coverage in the UK. We had 70% tree coverage in the UK in 1980. 2021 says 13% there. We actually only have 6% because 7% is non-native. So that's your fast-growing conifers for wood. So we have 6% tree coverage in the UK, and that's because from 1970 to now, there were no laws, no legislations, nobody holding anybody to account to stop people cutting trees down. You could just do it. So this charity was born by a chap called Kenneth Watkins, who lived down south and noticed that the woods around him were being cut down, and he had money. He was a wealthy, eccentric guy. He used to drive around in a banana yellow open-top sports car with a pet badger, and he just started buying the woods. His best friend whose name I'm sorry, I apologise, I can't remember, was from Grantham. So they set up their head office in a shed at Grantham, and our head office is still in Grantham, and now we have over 600 employees. So they started buying woods, and then they made it into a trust and to a charity called the Woodland Trust. So from 1972, which is when we started, to now, we've campaigned councils and governments trying to get legislations and laws brought into place to stop things from happening. So there's a couple of things that we've done, sadly only recently, but in 2019 we had a law passed that any ancient tree will have the same rights and privileges as any ancient building. That happened we got that as a law, but in 2019. And the problem with that is we shouldn't have to A, push so hard, and B, 2019, we've got 2% ancient woodland left. So what we have to remember is that there's no money in preserving woodland, creating new woodland. There's no money in it for councils. The situation with the Sheffield street trees was because the councils, I don't know if you're aware of that, but they went at night cutting down the street trees, beautiful trees, because they didn't want to spend money on maintaining them. We actually got involved. We stopped that from happening, and we actually got a legislation passed that says in England no council can ever do that again. We shouldn't need to be doing that, though. You know, that's not something that we should have to be doing. Scientists have been saying for the last 50 years, if you carry on cutting down trees, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have floods, you're going to have fires, you're going to have climate change. You know, we need to sort it out. And now, what's happening? And the narrative before the pandemic was only about this. Of course, the pandemic took over that narrative, but now we seem to be getting back to more normal life. We are getting back to the narrative, which is what we need. So now a lot of people want to plant trees, but you can't just get a tree and then go plant a tree anywhere you want, because it's going to be the right tree for the right place, and you need to look after that tree as well.
We've just bumped into Paul. Hi,
Hello.
Paul. How are you?
It's lovely to see you here today.
It must be probably 2 years since
It's been a long time.
Yeah, from your April team, I think was the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
So really nice to see you.
I've really missed those sessions. So
welcome to come back anytime.
That's brilliant.
Just for the purpose of this quick interview, Paul, can you tell us a little bit about your own spiritual journey?
Right,
just a small
brief snippet of everything. So that certainly can do. Well, I've always been interested in esoterics and various things, really. I suppose you could call them occult and hidden knowledge, I guess. And spent a lot of time meditating in my youth, from the age of about 15 or so, and just taking on board lots of different sort of eclectic areas of interest and trying to blend them together into my own sort of idea of the world and spirituality. That's basically how things started, and obviously things have progressed. A few years ago, I started going to Reiki with Karen and you guys too, and doing all sorts of interesting things there, which again expanded knowledge and interest. And in the past couple of years, whilst we've been on lockdown, I've not been completely stagnant. I've been doing different things at home and found an area of field that
Have you found that while we have been on lockdown, it's been actually more of a personal journey inwards?
I think so. I think it's how you view things, and if you take the perspective and look through the lens of what can you do with this time that you've been given, because I know we feel very isolated from everybody, and there's a bit of disconnect there. So using that as an opportunity to look inside yourself and to really try and reduce any sort of baggage and such like that you carry in your own life, and then now, as things are starting to return to normal, we can form better bonds and relationships with people as well, because we're more aware of who we are. So, definitely.
Is there anything that you've come for in particular today, or just been for a look around?
Just to look around and see people.
The energies seem different today.
Yeah.
They just seem high. The energies are just so high, and it's almost like, I feel like it's an energy of celebration today. It's the first one back.
Oh, definitely.
For 2 years, isn't it? So it's a really nice event today.
It is.
Can you tell me if there's anything that if there's one thing that you would like to teach everybody on earth, what would you teach them?
I think it would be, it must be with have compassion for who you are, and don't be so hard on yourself. I could teach people just to be more embracing of their own sort of personality, and less focused on the small issues and the niggles they have about themselves, whether that's physically or otherwise. Just to have that compassion, really, motivate you that.
If there's one thing that you are grateful for today, well, not just today.
Yeah, but
one thing. Can you tell me one thing that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for friendship. I'm grateful for I mean, it's compliant within friendship and separate things. But all the people that are having things with, and just being able to look and reflect on that and see them and think, more than anything in the world, and they're the most valuable assets that we have. You don't need money, you don't need wealth. It's the people, really. It's being grateful for those friends.
It's so nice to see you again, Paul. So lovely to talk to you again.
Yeah, hopefully we'll talk a bit more.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll have you on, if you're willing to, we'll have you on for a full episode.
Oh wow, that'd be amazing.
So thank you very much.
Quite a story to tell, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah,
so there we go.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm with Hope here, who does Shamanic healing, and your business is the Oracle of Hope.
Yes, that's right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the Oracle of Hope is exactly what it says in the name, really. It's channeling, and it's been an oracle for spirit and the divine and energy to come through me, really. There's several forms of healing modalities, as well as like psychic channeling, like clairvoyancy, spiritual mentorship, and everything like creative and just creation energy, really.
So it's a very organic process then.
Yeah.
Your healing and your sort of mindset to that healing then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sure. So how did you come to be doing this then? What was your sort of awakening or moment that you realised that this was your path?
So I was in a corporate business, and I was like working my way up the career ladder, and I was just so unhappy. I was earning more money, I was getting better recognition, getting bigger like authorities, and I was even more unhappy than the reason why I was doing it for. I was trying to work my way up to like become happier and feel more content and more fulfilled, and I was actually getting more unhappy. I had more money and I was even more unhappy, and I was like, what am I really doing this for? Like, nobody recognised me, I wasn't getting any recognition, wasn't heard, wasn't understood by anybody in the company. And I was like, how am I going to invest my life into this business when nobody gets me, nobody wants to hear what I have to offer, and what I have to offer is a value. So I was like, that's it, put my notice in, flew to Thailand, and just said that's it. Used all my savings to go travelling and learn different healing modalities. And there's been lots of spiritual awakenings in loads of different ways possible. Very fun, and I have like a thing of saying the deeper I go in healings and in journeys, the more light I can access. So I'm a very deep person that loves just diving into things, and
fantastic. I think we have to do a bit more of a discussion on your shamanic the further dates. So sounds wonderful. So have you got any one thing you could say you're grateful right at this moment in time?
In this moment of time, I'm very grateful for myself, and I'm grateful for my spirit team. I think you have to be grateful for yourself, because we're the ones that do it, and we all put the work in, and you have to be your own biggest fan at the end of the day. You know, you have to have your own back, and you have to big yourself up and put yourself out there and actually walk the talk, and not just you know. So very grateful for myself and all my team in spirit and in person.
Sure. How long have you been doing the Oracle of Hope?
So the Oracle of Hope, maybe about a year, but I've been into energy healing and doing clairvoyancy and like music and arts for probably about 3 to 4 years. Yeah, but I'm a very quick learner. I don't think it's about the amount of time you've been in it. Yeah, just picking it up. I'm just an absorber, very sensitive empath, just sucking it all up.
Brilliant. So you mentioned music there, so is that drumming or singing or you mentioned light language. I was having a conversation with you earlier. Is that correct? You do light language?
Yeah, so light language, singing, drumming, intuitive sounds, so it's like resonances, different chakra resonances, similar to instruments. I use like sound bowls, shikapas, the clarinet, instruments, drums, everything. I'm a dabbler.
Very good. That's been fascinating. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope today's gone well for you. And we wish the same for you tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on the show today.
Thank you for listening and continuing to support the Full Circle podcast. We would love for you to subscribe and share. Don't forget to find us on our official Facebook page. Until next time, have a good time, all of the time.